Good evening, everyone, and welcome. And today we have Colonel Mayank ji again back with us this week to discuss a very interesting topic today. Welcome, Mayank ji.
Thank you, Jaydev.
Yeah. So, coming to the topic in hand, is that it seems like another war-like situation seems to be brewing with respect to India, and. So, what exactly is happening is that a very interesting development is India and Bangladesh. The relationship is now more strained as Bangladesh. Mohammad Yunus, the interim head, he gave a very controversial gift to a Pakistani general in Dhaka, and the gift included a distorted map of Bangladesh that included Assam and other northeastern states as part of this thing. So, how do you see this controversial picture?
Jaydev ji, namaskar, and namaskar to
Namaskar.
all your audience. Coming to Bangladesh, yes. So, the Art of Triumph, this coffee table book was presented to the incoming guest, and here it's a different guest. But then this was presented to the Pakistani General Mirza, and it is not that he presents this coffee table book to the guests who are visiting Bangladesh. He's in a habit of carrying this along with him when he goes to other countries as well. A case in point is when he had traveled to the UN, to the UN General Assembly. There he had gifted this book to Mr. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. This happened in September 2024. The other recipient was Jane Goodall. So this also was presented to her during the same period when he had traveled there. So it is not that he's presenting it to people who come to him; he's presenting it to people whom he meets abroad also. If you recall, that Prime Minister Modi gifts Bhagavad Gita to all the dignitaries. So now Bhagavad Gita gives a totally different message, and this Art of Triumph gives a totally different message. Now it shows a map, as you said, of Bangladesh, which has included parts of the northeast. Not only the northeast, interestingly, it covers a bit of Jharkhand also, Assam also. So when it was asked of the Bangladeshis as to why are you showing a distorted map, so their reply was that this was an artistic representation of cartographic intelligence, or some English they had used. But then this didn't go very well with the Indians. Indians are very sensitive when it comes to showing of maps or using of flags or national symbols, if you can say that. Bangladeshis tried to show it. Now there comes a difference of intent and perception. Your intent can be to create a scene where you are showing artistic ingenuity or intelligence or creativity. But if in case the other party is not liking it, you have to be sensitive towards their feelings also. For example, you can wear a skirt to any country, but if in case you're traveling to a particular country where you have dress regulations for the women, you have to respect the culture which exists in that country. So you increase the length of your skirt or you change your attire. That generally happens. So you give respect to the person with whom you are dealing. Now, this was blatant disregard to the Indian sentiments, I would say that. It doesn't harm anybody if in case you show any map, you can take the entire world into your own fold and have that painted green and red, your national flag. It doesn't matter to anybody. But when it comes to your neighbors and neighbors who have been very close and the neighbor which has helped you in the so-called liberation of Bangladesh, you have to be slightly sensitive when you do such a thing. So this was just showing the middle finger to the thoughts and the aspiration, not aspirations as such, but the feelings of the common Indian, and that really hurt. Yes, please. Jaydeep.
Yeah. So we know that what happened in Bangladesh with respect to the coup and how Muhammad Yunus came to power, and how Bangladeshi Hindus were treated under his regime. With regards to the ISKCON chief being arrested and all those things. So also we have to note the point that Muhammad Yunus has a very good relationship with Hillary, Bill Clinton, and everything. So now, how does the relationship with Trump and Mohammed Yunus? How do you see this?
It's always seen that Sheikh Hasina Wajid, she was not towing the line which the Americans wanted her to tow. They have got a area which is known as the Saint Martin's Island, not a very huge chunk of land, but then the Americans had an eye on that land. The second thing is the spread of evangelism. So the American missionaries were very active, and George Soros has pledged a certain wealth for this cause. We are all aware of that. And what goes on our northeast states, and they wanted to include Bangladesh and Myanmar also in the ambit. So Bangladesh becomes a key player when it comes to spread of this religion in that part of the world. So Sheikh Hasina Wajid didn't do the line, and of course she had to be shown the exit door. And so this entire thing was created, the protest by the students. If in case you understand and study the protest going on in this part of the world, they carry a particular playbook. They follow that playbook, and they wanted this to happen in India as well. Many tries were made, but unfortunately the government was more sensible here, and they didn't succumb to their actions and various activities that they were supposed to perform. So Bangladesh was not all that mature and sensitive to handle it. So they came down slightly heavy on the students, and then they found a way. There are stories that even sniper shots were taken at the students just to create mayhem in the gathering. But then it's still a matter of conjecture. Nothing has been proven as such. So what happens is that the students come into power. Sheikh Hasina Wajid has to flee. Fortunately, the army, a bit sensible institution in that part of the country, ensures a safe exit, and how Mr. Yunus takes over the seat. Now, Mr. Yunus is busy furthering the cause which the Americans have dictated to him, and I can say it very clearly that he is doing so. Yes, so he has been rewarded or awarded this seat where he can sit tightly and he can further the cause which are dictated by his American masters. There are instances where he has been shown cozying with the American leadership, and I'm using the word cozying. See, there is one that you shake hands as friends, but when you cozy up, that gives an entirely different meaning to the relationship. He comes, he releases people who are showing allegiance to the Jamatis. The Jamatis are also released from the captivity. Then people who are showing allegiance towards Islamabad, they are also given a loose rope. They are also freed. Uh, the trials of 71, they take a back seat. So many things are seen that this man is trying to provoke its brotherly neighbor, which is existing, I can say, on all four sides of the country. Now, you should not forget how India has handled diplomacy in this part of this world, especially with Bangladesh. Let us take the example of the exclusive economic zone which Bangladesh enjoys. If you recall that India had withdrawn its representation from the International Court of Arbitration when it came to UNCLOS. Now, UNCLOS clearly states that 200 nautical miles of the waters which are joining your land will be your exclusive economic zone. If you study the map, Bangladesh will be devoid of any sea asset. But then India was mature enough to give a huge chunk of land as per the wishes of Bangladesh. Our relations went off very well because we had carried out the land boundary agreement with them. Connectivity with the Northeast was going on well. Tista river waters were being understood. Everything was going on well until this thing happened in August 2024. Yes, we had certain issues which were existing between the two countries. There was huge trade imbalance. If you see that in the year 2023, total trade of $14.5 billion was existing between the country, and it was pretty one-sided. We were exporting goods worth 12.22 billion to Bangladesh. Now, in the year 2024, the trade dropped to $12.91 billion, in which again India had a major chunk. We were exporting goods worth $11.07 billion to Bangladesh, but the trade was slowly coming down. And then the relations also started coming down. Let us be very clear on the fact that defense, energy, and your trade, it cannot go without the permission and explicit sanction of India. Bangladesh cannot afford. See, it may try to shake hands with Pakistan, it may try to provoke India on all fronts, but they cannot rely on Pakistan because Pakistan has a history. 71 can never be forgotten by any Bangladeshi. If in case they are true to that salt, they will never forget the 3 million who were killed, and not to mention the people who were raped, murdered, looted, and who went under all this tragedy. Now comes the condition of the Hindus there. So it has become a norm. If in case you want to challenge India, you start roughing up the minorities of your country. It is in Pakistan. So what you do is you start attacking the Sikhs and Hindus existing in Pakistan. When it comes to Bangladesh, you attack Hindus, you vandalize their temples, burn them down, and atrocities on Hindus were rampant. And it has come to a stage where people in India are demanding any action on Bangladesh. Now, India again cannot take any action as such. If in case the government decides to intervene, which it will never, because we have a stated policy that this is your internal matter. What we can do is we can sit and advise you how to take care of the situation. We don't interfere in any country. What we do is, if in case the country invites us, like in the case of Afghanistan, Bagram is a latest example where the Indians have been invited there to help them maintain the airport. So we have gone to Bagram to help provide assistance to Afghanistan. So we decide to stay back, and if in case, hypothetically, if we try to enter Bangladesh to aid the minorities are not sitting in one particular pocket. They are spread all over the country. So there'll be mayhem. People will be butchered if in case we try any such adventure with Bangladesh. So we also know that what is the reality. So we always try to drill some sense into the regime which is existing there, but then it falls on deaf ears. So
Yeah.
they try to provoke India. Yes.
So coming to the next point is what is going on between Pakistan and the US. They are cozying up, first with the rare earth deal with the US, then the crypto deal for Trump, and so America is trying to, do all this to spite India, and obviously they don't like to see the Indian economy becoming stronger and stronger every day, while the US economy is going, down each and every day, and even the US dollar.
So actually, it works two ways. American interests, they dictate that Pakistan should survive. Now, I'm using the word survive, okay? It should not thrive, it should just survive. So, Pakistan needs to survive. Why? Because Pakistan will continue, sorry, will continue needling India. Now, India is needled. Why? Because India should not go so strong that it challenges the heft of the Americans, but it should remain adequately strong to challenge China so that the Chinese don't look toward the Americans. And the Indians, they start looking toward the Americans for help and to maintain quad because China has to be pressurized on the other fields. So that is the game being played in this subcontinent, and every Indian child also understands what is going on. So you have a crypto deal. Now, crypto deal, everybody knows that there is nothing known as Pakistan Crypto Council. The State Bank of Pakistan is on record saying that any company which deals in cryptocurrency or has any relation with that company will be debarred. That was the stated statement of State Bank of Pakistan. But suddenly you create a Pakistan Crypto Council, and some friend and some son of President Trump comes and he signs a deal. And when I wrote an article on this, and I was told by one of the leading newspapers that no, this crypto deal Every action is transparent. I said, I'm so sorry. The word crypto means something else. But anyway, I respect your sentiments towards I don't know what. And this has come with an intent. Now, the beauty about Pakistan is, let me just give you an amplification. $11.6 billion is pledged to Pakistan. I don't know whether I have spoken to you regarding this or not. So
No.
11.6 billion dollars is pledged by IMF to Pakistan. It is to be given in various tranches. So the IMF sees that there is something fishy going on. They send their team to investigate, and to the horror, they find that before all the tranches are delivered to Pakistan, $11 billion have already been reappropriated by them. $0.6 billion is left for them to look after the interests of their country. So that is Pakistan army and Pakistan politics for you. They are so mindful of their countrymen. In Urdu, they call it Hubbul Watani. Patriotism should be learned from the Pakistanis, how patriotic their leaders are. This is a glaring example. Why they have done the Saudi deal, everybody knows. Every deal that they enter has a clause. You don't have generals having islands to their name. Compare them with the Chief of Army Staff of India. I'm sure 90% of them are living in a three-bedroom flat. They don't even have bungalows to stay. And the Pakistani generals, they are a royalty, they own islands. So that is the difference. But then coming back to Pakistan America deals, Asim Munir went to the US. He saw a horrible National Day parade there. He was invited for closed door luncheons. And I say that over a morsel, Asim Munir sold the sovereignty of Pakistan to the Americans. They came and they occupied bases which were hurriedly repaired after India's handiwork, and they were given to the US. The US was eyeing Bagram. Bagram was being eyed for a reason. 800 kilometers from the Chinese border, 2,500 kilometers from the site where you test your strategic assets. So Bagram becomes a very important stronghold for any country. If you turn the leaves of history, you'll find that the Soviet Union had also made Bagram Air Base as their linchpin point. The Americans also wanted to have a strong foothold there in Bagram. But then suddenly, what you find, there's a deal struck, and we say that, okay, Turkmenistan, bye bye. So the Afghans say that, India, please help us out in Bagram, and we go and off late I see photographs of a C-17 Globemaster standing there, and that's how the tricolor is there on Bagram. So the title that are we going to face a war or are we into a war? Uh, I don't think so that we are facing a war. We have always been in a state of war. War doesn't mean that a bullet is being fired. Any action which is taken to harm your economy is equally warlike. So if you just notice as to how people are trying to find their way to give you troubles, and India is very coolly brushing off the dirt of this trouble and moving ahead. I have never seen an instance where you trouble one country and this country goes into your power block, that is the NATO, and the NATO is keen to buy missiles from that country. So Greece is the first such example which has already gone in for that. So this time you are facing Naya Bharat, New India, unstoppable and unsurmountable. So people have to understand that you're not facing the India which existed 1.5 decades back. It is new India, and you require some strategy to face new India. It's not all that simple. Yes, Jadej.
Yeah. Yeah. So coming to the next point, HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, sees the local manufacturing of Russian SJ-100 aircraft as a game changer for India's UDAN scheme for regional flight connectivity. So it's a first step towards fulfilling the dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So this is so we see that India-Russia relationship is getting even more closer than before.
So Jadevji, it's a symbiotic relationship, and I never knew that Udan means something. It was Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. So that is the philosophy of the government, that every citizen, a common man, should be able to fly. Now, as you spoke of this deal between HAL of India and UAC of Russia, where the Sukhoi Superjet 100 is to be manufactured in India. It is no knockdown kits or anything. We are going to manufacture this in India. Now, why are we manufacturing this in India? Because Russia is facing sanctions. It is next to impossible for Russia to undertake the manufacture, develop the technology, and export it. By transferring it to India, the technology will remain alive and we will be manufacturing this jet in India. So it's a medium jet which is going to be manufactured here. And the beauty is that the tier 2 and tier 3 cities of this country will be connected by a platform which is produced in our own country. The cost of this flight will go down drastically because you are connecting cities like Rajkot and Surat. You are connecting cities like Dehradun and Varanasi, Patna and Surat. So, tier 2 and tier 3 cities will be connected by this platform. So, it will be a leaf in the Atmanirbhar cap of Bharat. We were trying to break that duopoly, the duopoly of the Boeing and Airbus. So now India emerges as a manufacturer of a passenger carrier. And the beauty is that once we manufacture, we have a ready market with us. The South-South technology transfer and technology shake hand will come into play when India manufactures this, and there are people lined up for buying this already. South America, Africa, and South Asia will be one big potential market for this manufacture. We have already airlines like Air India and Indigo who have placed orders for 1,000 such aircrafts. So we have a ready-made market in India. So now in COVID, what happened was that we learned from COVID that during COVID, if in case we wanted spares to come for the aircraft standing here, we found it difficult. Now, once you have your own aircraft, you have your own assembly line here, you will never face such a crisis in future. Secondly, you have got technology working here already. Now the technology has to be tweaked. I just made a note of it as to how this thing will come into play. And it was very interesting to study this, Jadevji. Now it says of technology spillover. Now, how technology will spill over? We already are having the LCA Tejas and the HTT 40 working in India. So now these aircrafts have got indigenous technology, and this indigenous technology can be dovetailed with the manufacturing of this SJ-100. And that is your composite structure can be the common technology. We have the fly-by-wire systems, and we have the indigenous avionics. So I made a note of all these things that were very important and very encouraging, that you don't have to go begging for various things. You can have it here, and you have seamless transfer of technologies existing. The secondly was the economic diplomacy, which we have already discussed. The next point that came to my mind was strategic redundancy. That is regarding the space that we discussed. And the last was the aviation corridor of the future. And what does it say? That we intend to use hybrid fuel at one point of time, and then we are going to use electric taxiing of the aircraft. So we are going to have green airports and clean air by using this technology. This is what we are heading towards. So it is not merely shake hands of two companies, HAL and UAC. It is much beyond that. So it should give a sense of pride to every Indian who's listening to what we are discussing here, that Atmanirbhar Bharat takes a big leap. We don't buy and fly others' aircrafts, we fly our own. That is the difference that this aircraft brings to our country. Yes, Jitendra.
Yeah, also one more very important point is Indian fertilizer companies preparing to establish a urea manufacturing facility in Russia. So that's also a very big development.
uh, this time, in fact, many things are happening which would slightly bother the Western world. The way things are progressing. If you recall, there was a instance where the Russians they were selling Me-17s to Pakistan, and many Indians got touchy with this fact. So let me just clarify one thing: that every country has a right to trade with any other country of the world. Look, we have also done it. The Americans were trying to sell the latest technology to us, that is the F-35. But we never got into their trap. I mean, using trap intentionally. So now, if America was so close to Pakistan, why would the Americans try to sell their latest to India? Of course, we never fell into that trap. We know because we got one F-35. We welcomed them with open arms. We made them stand in Kerala. We offered them coconut water, and they were allowed to fly back. One more tried to gain ingress, testing our stealth technology, and but then we said, "Friend, you have been identified, so please turn back. Otherwise, you can be made a specimen out of it." So this happens in the modern world. Today, India has got radars which can detect stealth technology. So we don't require any stealth aircraft. We have got our AMCA. We are in the prototype stage. 2035, we intend flying it. So things are on track. So if you study the Atmanirbhar market which is being developed in this country, it's nobody's business. The way we are progressing, the entire world is looking towards India. So what the Prime Minister says, Vishwa Guru, I maintain that we already are there. Just a common Indian has to understand that we are the Vishwa Guru. You name a thing and we have it there. Yes, please, Jaideep.
Yeah, the last point is that Ajit Doval reached Bishkek in the
Bishkek, okay.
Kyrgyz capital, yeah, to participate in the dialogue with India's Central Asian security partners. And Afghanistan-Pakistan border conflict is also part of the discussion. So this is also a very big news, isn't it?
Yes. Actually, what happened was that Prime Minister Modi was in conversation with these stans, the five stans, that is Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan. I have forgotten for one: Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and I'm missing out one stan. So, what happens is that the Prime Minister Modi in 2022 has a discussion with the leaders of this world, and this is a follow up of that discussion. So, finally, we are laying stress on relations with Eurasia. It's not finally, we already are. If in case you study the INSTC, so we have a link there. The Chabahar port will also provide you connectivity there. This area is important. It is important. Why? Because it is an energy rich area. You'll be surprised that energy flow from this area goes till Europe, and it draws energy lines from Iran, and then the energy flows into Europe. So that is also existing there. So it becomes an important hub for oil and gas, and everybody is eyeing this area. And India being a local strong player in this area, our presence is a must. And all these countries are favorable towards the Indian cause. So, having interacted with the officers from all these countries, I can assure you that they look towards India as a very good friend, a friend who will always be standing by their side when they require. So that is the sentiment which is prevailing in that part of the world. If you recall, Prime Minister Modi was greeted by some local singer, was it in Uzbekistan, who sang a song from a Raj Kapoor film for him. So that is the connect that India has with that region. So Mr. Ajit Doval traveling to that part of the world on Wednesday, that is, I think, today. So today he has reached there for this conference. It carries a lot of meaning. Since it's a discussion between the security advisors, I think that says enough what India is looking towards and why is he there. Yes, Jadidji.
because everyone is concerned about the personal security of Prime Minister Modi,
Okay.
especially after the controversial thing, the meeting of Modi and Putin in Putin's car in the SEO meet. What was the nature of discussion? So there was a lot of controversy regarding that.
Jadidji, people are very fond of controversy theories. Okay, let us just dissect everything. There was this American officer, a colonel who was black, and he was found dead in Westin Hotel in Dhaka. Now he is found dead on 31st of August 2025, and 1st of September, this incident happens where Prime Minister Modi enters the car of President Putin, and President Putin is waiting for him for 10 minutes. Then they enter the car, and President Putin himself drives the car. He leaves his driver also aside. Now, both these leaders are inside the car for 50 minutes. Then they get down and then they go in for a bilateral, and the bilateral also lasts for around 50 odd minutes. They say that, yes, this killing of the American was a joint FSB and raw activity. Now, tell me, my good friend, who secret operative will go and stay in a hotel and so conspicuous and he gets killed there? I don't know how he got killed and who killed him. And the killing, before probably the NSA of India could gather, every YouTuber in this part of the world knew it. So either the YouTubers are too smart and our security agencies are too dumb to act in haste and leave the trail open for everybody to dissect. Now, just take your mind, Jadirji. China is a country where every corner of that country has got a AI augmented CCTV camera. You are in the glare of the administration throughout. There is not a single nook and corner or a gadget in that country which is not being observed by the Chinese. That's a fact. Even the site where the bilaterals were supposed to be held was monitored, most probably. Which is the safest place for two leaders of that stature to discuss? The safest place would be a car which is flown in from my own country, which is under the watch of my security service, which I travel, and no other guy can come close to that. So, if in case I have to discuss something, I will use my car in that case. Probably that is why they both sat in the car and they spoke for 50 minutes what they were supposed to speak for 50 minutes later on. My thinking says that probably the Ukraine Russia peace deal was also discussed. And why do I say so? That immediately after the return of Prime Minister Modi, there's a tweet from President Trump. The tweet says that my friend Modi, he's the person I admire and whatnot. And in the last line, he says that thank you, Mr. Modi, for brokering the peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. I maintain that probably he would have written this as a draft and accidentally he pressed the post button. It went out. My feeling is that we would have discussed this and Prime Minister Modi would be brokering a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. It is highly possible. Yes, I won't deny that a leader of that stature would be under threat. People would be eyeing. But all these instances, if you start linking towards an attack on Prime Minister Modi, I think we are being too kiddish and too naive. And if at all we can read all these things very well, then we should might as well enroll ourselves in the Secret Service and go to the assistance of our Secret Service because they have got a lot to learn from our YouTubers. So let us understand things in a wider perspective. Yes, if in case Mr. Modi is told to visit Manipur when Manipur is burning, that can be a cause for concern. You are trying to push the prime minister into that area, which area is not very safe. The prime minister goes to a place that area is sanitized. I have observed and I have been a witness to all these things, how a prime minister visits, how the things are sanitized. So it's no child's play that you can take down the Indian prime minister. Sorry, those days are gone. 31st October 1984 probably was the last day where you could come close to the Prime Minister. After that, we have made amends. We have done a lot many things. It is not easy to touch our leader. That is why you'll find Prime Minister Modi leaving his cavalcade, traveling amongst the people, shaking hands, exchanging garlands, kissing young kids, listening to the poetry which they have to recite. That is how the Prime Minister moves. That is his idea. So the security detail is very conscious as to how they are supposed to protect the Prime Minister, and the YouTubers can keep minting money by churning out such stories. Good luck to them.
Yeah. So that was a wonderful session, Mayank, and thanks for coming. And
My
we'll see you
pleasure.
again next week.
Sure, Jadevji. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.